The information provided on this podcast is intended for general informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. While we discuss topics related to vegan health, diet, and fitness, always consult with a qualified healthcare provider or a registered dietitian before making any changes to your diet, fitness routine, or lifestyle, especially if you have existing health conditions.
Welcome to Good Vegan Meal, the podcast for lifelong vegans, people wanting to become vegan, or those interested in vegan living. We're here to make your lives better by giving you the information you need to succeed in your compassionate vegan lifestyle.
When you hear the word vegan, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Food, usually.
Yeah, exactly. For most of us, it's about food, right?
Yeah.
Dietary choices, plant-based meals, maybe something about animal welfare.
Sure.
But today, we're going to dive into something, well, much richer and, frankly, far more complex than just what's on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Living a truly vegan life, it's a whole journey,
Mm-hmm.
It impacts your health, shapes how you advocate, and even needs careful attention to your own well-being.
That's absolutely right. This deep dive is really for anyone who's navigating or maybe just curious about the full picture of what it means to live vegan.
Okay.
So we'll explore things like finding medical support that actually aligns with a plant-based lifestyle.
That's a big one.
It is. And we'll unpack the true definition of veganism, beyond just the food.
Right.
And discuss how to, engage in advocacy effectively while also looking after your own mental health.
And to help us navigate all this, we've got some really great sources lined up.
We do.
We're looking at resources like 20-plus plant-based doctors you need to know about, an article on vegan advocacy from Medium, some crucial info on legal rights from the Vegan Society.
And a guide to effective vegan advocacy from Phonalytics, too.
So our mission today is basically to give you a solid understanding of what truly living vegan involves.
Yeah, from finding the right doctor to being an effective, sustainable advocate.
Without getting totally overwhelmed.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
So let's jump straight into a challenge many vegans face: healthcare. I was honestly floored by a statistic in our sources.
Oh.
Yeah, the average doctor gets less than 20 hours of nutrition education in all of medical school. Just 19.6 hours on average.
It's shockingly low, isn't it?
It really is. So how does this healthcare gap actually affect a vegan patient trying to talk to their doctor?
Well, it creates a pretty significant gap. It means, as patients, we often can't just assume our doctors will have a deep grasp of how nutrition really impacts disease prevention and treatment.
Especially plant-based diets.
Especially plant-based diets, exactly. So the advice you get might be incomplete. It puts more responsibility back on us, the patients, to seek out informed care.
Right. And that's really where these plant-based doctors come in, isn't it?
Absolutely. These are doctors who've often specifically sought out extra training or focused their careers on understanding nutrition's role.
It's like they've done the nutritional deep dive themselves.
Precisely. They can provide expert guidance, real support for adopting a plant-based diet, which can genuinely help prevent or manage chronic diseases. Many have done significant research, written, truly life-saving books.
It's pretty amazing how much this field has grown. When you look at the key figures, the pioneers, who really stands out?
Oh, there are several. Among those focused on disease reversal, Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn's work is just fundamental.
Heart disease, right.
Yes, showing heart disease could actually be reversed with a whole food, plant-based diet. That was revolutionary.
Wow.
And then there's someone like Dr. Michael Greger. His genius, I think, is making nutritional science accessible.
Nutritionfacts.org.
That's him. And his Daily Dozen, it's not just a list, it's a practical tool. It translates complex research into daily habits anyone can use to fight chronic diseases.
So it's about making it actionable for everyone.
Exactly.
Empowerment.
And what about doctors with maybe broader perspectives or different specialties within plant-based medicine?
Oh, the field is definitely broadening. You have doctors like Michelle McMacken in NYC running a plant-based lifestyle medicine program. She highlights the health, ethical, and environmental angles.
Right.
For gut health, Dr. Will Bulsevich, you might know him as at the Gut Health MD online. His book, Fiber Fueled, is fantastic, really emphasizes fiber.
Okay.
And for parents, finding plant-based pediatricians is becoming easier. Dr. Reshma Shah, for example, co-authored Nourish, a guide for families.
That's so needed.
It really is. And honestly, there are many more cardiologists like Dr. Joel Kahn, surgeons like Dr. Garth Davis, researchers like Dr. T. Colin Campbell.
Yeah.
We'll definitely link to a more comprehensive list in the show notes. That sounds incredibly useful. So,
Yeah.
okay, say you've found or want to find one of these plant-based allies. What are the practical steps for working with your doctor? Especially if maybe your current doctor isn't quite on board yet.
Yeah, good question. A really key first step, our sources suggest, is to clearly state that you're taking responsibility for your health.
How does that help?
It often makes doctors more open to the conversation. It frames it as you being proactive and, bring resources. Maybe mention a documentary that resonated or even the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics position paper supporting plant-based diets.
Let's keep it professional too, I imagine.
Definitely. Avoid asking about their personal diet.
Mhm.
That can put them on the defensive. Keep the focus squarely on your health, your choices, and the evidence you found.
And if you hit a wall, if there's real skepticism or pushback,
Then don't be afraid to switch. Seriously. You are in control of your health journey, and you absolutely deserve a physician who respects your choices.
okay, so how do you find these doctors? You mentioned directories.
Yes, online directories are great. There's Plantrition Providers. That's a free global search tool. Includes doctors, physical therapists, health coaches, all sorts.
Okay.
Then the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, or PCRM, they have a Find a Doctor database. PCRM does amazing work in preventive medicine. Their directory is global too and includes telehealth options.
Telehealth is huge now.
Absolutely. There's also Love Life, which is an online practice specifically focused on lifestyle and functional medicine. They offer telehealth across the U.S. and internationally.
Interesting.
And one more tip, if you happen to have Kaiser Permanente insurance, many of their centers actually run a 21-day Plant Strong challenge for their own staff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you might have a better chance of finding doctors within Kaiser who are already familiar with or even supportive of plant-based diets.
That's a great insider tip. And it's not just doctors, right? Dietitians, health coaches.
Exactly. You can definitely team up with plant-based dietitians or health coaches. PCRM actually has a preferred dietitian referral database you can check out.
And finally, share your success.
Yes. Let your doctor know how good you feel. Seriously, patient stories, those transformations, they can be incredibly powerful in sparking a doctor's interest and maybe shifting their perspective.
Makes sense. What about specific health screenings? Anything vegans should pay particular attention to?
Yeah, there are a few key ones. Regularly monitoring vitamin B12 and vitamin D is crucial. Those are the big ones people talk about.
Right.
But it's also a good idea to ask for an A1C test that checks blood sugar over time, plus magnesium levels and omega-3 levels.
Okay.
And if you want something really comprehensive, Quest Diagnostics actually offers a specific panel called the Vegan and Vegetarian Deficiency Panel.
Good to know. And for parents raising vegan kids, any specific advice there?
Finding a supportive pediatrician is key, obviously. You can use resources like the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, ACLM, or look up plant-based juniors.
Bring resources again.
Yes, definitely. Bring educational materials to appointments, books like Nourish or The Plant-Based Baby and Toddler. It helps to educate yourself and gently educate your pediatrician about the safety and benefits.
Got it. One last point on healthcare medication. That can be tricky, right? Non-vegan ingredients.
It can be. Things like lactose or gelatin can sometimes be in medications, so it's always worth asking your doctor if there are vegan alternatives available.
And animal testing.
That's the really tough one. Pretty much all medication has undergone animal testing at some stage. The Vegan Society's stance is pragmatic. Avoid animal use as far as is practicable and possible.
So you take the necessary medication.
Generally, yes, though private prescriptions might sometimes offer more flexibility in finding specific formulations if a standard vegan alternative isn't easy to get.
Now, what's really fascinating here, linking to advocacy perhaps, is how legal systems are starting to engage with this. In the UK, for example, veganism is actually recognized as a protected belief under their Equality Act 2010.
That's huge.
It is. It means potential legal protection against discrimination in places like schools, hospitals, workplaces. And public authorities have duties under human rights law to respect the right to practice veganism.
Including access to suitable food if someone's detained, for instance.
Exactly. So this raises a really interesting question. How might advocating for yourself in these kinds of situations, maybe using template letters or referencing laws like the Equality Act, how might that actually help pave the way for future vegans? Not just in the UK, but maybe globally.
That's a vital point. The UK example really shows how formal recognition empowers people and sets precedents. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the concept of veganism goes so much deeper than just diet.
Right.
Donald Watson, who co-founded the Vegan Society, he was very clear. Animal exploitation is really the core issue.
Not just food.
Not just food at all. He saw veganism as a peaceful revolution. The goal was to abolish industries built on using animals and create new ones that benefit everyone, including animals.
So it's fundamentally against what he called the biggest industry in the world, animal exploitation. And that includes farming, medicine, animal testing, all of it.
Everything. So yes, eating a 100% plant-based diet is a huge practical step, a necessary one even, but it doesn't fully capture the principle of veganism.
Which is?
Which is, at its heart, a principle against the commodification and exploitation of animals. It's a fundamental shift in perspective, seeing animals not as objects or resources, but as sentient individuals.
And confusing veganism with just a plant-based diet that can actually undermine the bigger message.
It really can. It risks diluting the core ethical stance, the call for an end to exploitation.
Okay. And this leads us into some of the challenges, maybe misconceptions, around vegan advocacy itself. One thing you hear sometimes is that advocating for veganism is inherently rude or unpragmatic.
Ah, yes, the angry vegan trope.
Right. But our sources suggest this is kind of a false dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can be polite, factual, and advocate without compromising the core message.
Absolutely. It's entirely possible. Often, accusations of being rude are a form of tone policing, meaning it's an attempt to silence the advocacy, often from people who just want quiet vegans, people who treat it purely as a personal dietary choice like any other, rather than a stance for justice.
That makes sense. And sometimes the message can get muddled even from within the community or by well-meaning outsiders.
Yeah, that happens too. You might see non-vegans giving advice on how vegans should advocate, or even some vegans promoting reducitarianism in a way that subtly argues against going fully vegan. It can send mixed signals and, frankly, block the path to understanding the deeper principles.
So the label vegan itself is important for advocacy.
It's crucial because it clearly communicates that position against exploitation. It stands for justice. It's not just about what's not on your plate, but why.
And what about this debate you sometimes hear? Systemic change versus individual change.
Another false dilemma, really. Vegans are modeling individual change, living differently. And that individual stance equips them to argue against the justifications used by exploiters, like claims of humane slaughter.
So it tackles both.
Exactly. Veganism aims to dismantle speciesism itself, the underlying belief system, not just tweak an economic system.
Okay, so given all that context, how can people become more effective vegan advocates? Our sources had 5 key strategies.
Yes, let's break those down.
The first one is know your audience.
Right. And this isn't just about being nice, it's strategic. You need to recognize that for many people, the entry point isn't immediately ethics.
It might be health.
Or the environment.
Precisely. So tailor your initial message to their likely concerns. That's often the key to opening door. It also means understanding carnism.
Explain that one again.
Carnism is that invisible belief system, the one that makes eating certain animals seem normal, natural, and necessary. Understanding it helps you anticipate defensiveness.
And avoid triggering it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because defensiveness just shuts down any real conversation. Okay, strategy 2. Know when not to advocate. This one hit home for me. I've definitely felt the urge to preach at the dinner table.
We've all been there. But yeah, the advice is pretty clear. Avoid advocating during meals. Defenses are usually sky high then. Same goes if someone explicitly says, I'm not interested right now.
So what do you do instead? Just drop it?
You could suggest talking later. Maybe say something like, I find it easier to talk about this stuff when we're not actually eating. It shows respect for the moment and might open the door later when they're more receptive.
That's mindful. Okay, third strategy, focus on process over content.
This is crucial. The how you deliver the message is often more important than the what. The goal isn't about being right or winning an argument.
It's about connection.
It's about mutual connection, yes. Engage in a real conversation. Share your own experience. Listen empathetically.
Like the example given. If someone says, I could never give up cheese.
Right. Instead of hitting them with facts about dairy, you could say something like, oh, I totally get that. I used to feel the exact same way. Mac and cheese was my absolute favorite. But I started by cutting out other things first, and eventually I found a vegan mac and cheese recipe I love just as much. Maybe there are other steps you could take first, too.
So you're meeting them where they are, offering a path, not just a, you're wrong.
Exactly. It's relational, not confrontational.
Number 4, share your own story.
Yes. Instead of just throwing statistics around, explain why you personally went vegan. What was your journey?
Makes it more human.
Much more. It invites them to see it through your eyes, which makes it really hard for them to stay defensive. And remember your own pre-vegan self.
Right. Acknowledge you weren't always vegan.
Yeah, saying things like, I became vegan after eating meat my whole life, or I'm vegan now, but for most of my life I wasn't. That builds bridges. Keep it short, simple, personal.
Okay, and the final strategy. View non-vegans as potential allies.
This combats the us versus them mentality, which can be really counterproductive. You don't only need to create new vegans to make a difference.
Allies can help too.
Absolutely. An ally might start doing meatless Mondays, or donate to a vegan charity, or push for vegan options at work or in their business. Those are all wins.
So ask for specific actions sometimes.
Yeah, like asking them to sign a petition. And always, always thank them for any support they offer. Building alliances is key for long-term change.
That makes a lot of sense. Shifting gears slightly, but still related to advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the personal side.
Mm-hmm.
What's really striking here is the potential emotional toll of being an ethical vegan and an advocate.
Oh, absolutely. It's significant. You're constantly bearing witness to suffering, right? Whether it's through documentaries, rescue work, protests.
That sounds draining.
It can be incredibly draining. It can lead to sorrow, anxiety, stress, even depression.
Yeah.
And that's often piled on top of just, regular life stress.
So self-care is obviously important, but our sources suggest maybe thinking even bigger, like an ethics of care.
Exactly. It's not just about bubble baths, though those can help. It's about nourishing yourself, mind, body, spirit, while staying connected and compassionate towards everyone, including non-human animals. It's a more holistic way to sustain yourself.
And preventing burnout is key, right? Because if you burn out...
You can't advocate effectively. Emotional exhaustion can just paralyze you.
So prevention strategies, what helps?
The basics, really. Exercise, meditation, hobbies. Crucially, taking breaks from things that are emotionally draining. Maybe not watching that graphic new documentary if you know it hits you hard.
Protect your sensitivity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Find your community, people who get it. Spend time in nature. Connect with animals that can really help replenish your joy and remind you why you started this in the first place.
Reconnecting with the why.
Definitely.
Our sources also mention understanding specific concepts like compassion fatigue and secondary traumatic stress.
Yes, CF and STS. These are really important to understand.
Explain them briefly.
Okay, so compassion fatigue, or CF, is when your empathy, your drive to help just gets exhausted. Like an overused muscle, it just gives out.
Okay.
And secondary traumatic stress, STS, also called vicarious trauma. That's when you're indirectly exposed to trauma. Hearing disturbing stories, seeing graphic images, you can become essentially secondhand traumatized.
Wow, that sounds serious.
It is. It can genuinely impact your mental stability.
Yeah.
Learning about CF and STS isn't just for you, it's also about being more sensitive to fellow activists who might be struggling.
Fostering a supportive community.
Exactly.
And all this leads to practicing sustainable activism, right?
Yeah.
Making it a long-term commitment.
Yes. Mental sustainability is key. That means learning to forgive yourself and others, taking breaks when you need them, learning to let go of things you can't control.
And accepting that even vegans get sick sometimes.
Right. It's not about being perfect, it's about being resilient. There are some great resources mentioned, books like Even Vegans Die, Beyond Beliefs, Millennial Vegan, Self-Care Activist, Aftershock. They offer tools for navigating this long term.
So bringing it all together.
Yeah.
What does this all mean? We've covered a lot of ground.
We really have.
We've journeyed through this whole landscape of vegan living, from finding informed doctors and really understanding what veganism is beyond diet.
To advocating effectively and crucially, taking care of yourself in the process.
It's pretty clear that living vegan isn't just a simple dietary switch. It's a deeply informed principle, a way of life that needs really thoughtful navigation.
Absolutely. We hope this deep dive has sparked some aha moments for you, maybe offered a clearer path forward wherever you are on your journey.
So here's something to think about. What single piece of information from our deep dive today resonates most strongly with you? And how might that insight shift your own approach, your own engagement with the world around you?
Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode of Good Vegan Meal. If you loved what you heard and you're hungry for more, head over to our link tree at linktr.ee/goodveganmeal. There you can grab our free PDF 30 high-protein vegan 5-minute meals packed with quick recipes and full nutritional stats for every meal. Perfect for busy days and plant-powered gains. And if you're ready to take your vegan cooking game to the next level, check out our cookbook's 125-minute vegan meals for kids' lunches, a school lunchbox lifesaver, 185-minute vegan meals, and 7 weeks of high-protein meals with meal planning made simple with grocery lists for each week. Grab your goodies at linktr.ee/goodveganmeal, and we'll see you in the next episode.